Hi, I'm Jason Cameron. On behalf of Universal Forest Products, I'd like to welcome you to the first Desperate Deck Contest. I'm here in beautiful Chesapeake, Virginia, at the home of this year's winner, Heather Foskey, and I'm standing on her brand new ProWood Duracolor deck. This has been an exciting contest. With nearly 100 entries, Heather's really stood out. The question we asked was, how desperate can a deck get? Well, Heather's response to that question really stood out. Her husband, Paul, is active duty Navy and is deployed months on end, spending a lot of time away from home, leaving Heather to care for 2 children and no time for maintenance. Ultimately, Heather's compelling story and desperate deck photos convinced us she was the clear winner of this year's $20,000 ProWood Desperate Deck Contest. I'd like to introduce our custom deck builder with Casa Decks, George Drummond. How are you, George?
Good, Jason.
Good. Now listen, over the years, you've built a lot of decks. You're a custom deck builder. You've worked with a lot of different types of materials. What was it like working with ProWood Duracolor on this deck?
Interesting. It's normal pressure treated, but it doesn't look like normal pressure treated. It almost looks like cedar, and it'll hold the color. Unlike some of the stains and all, this will hold it over time, and so you'll get this finished look that'll stay with it for years.
Looking at the deck, this is a really good sized deck. I mean, you more than doubled the size of the original deck, right?
You know, that's about 700 square feet. The original deck we took down was about 350.
And the nice thing is you've got different spaces. You've got an entertaining space, you've got a fire pit space, and you've got a screened-in porch, which is really nice.
There are 2 things that works with the deck. One, I'm big on functionality, and that's how well it serves the particular client and what they're doing with it. The second thing is the trim out, the wow factor. When a neighbor walks in through and looks around and says, wow, how'd you get that deck? And it's done with the trim out, the decorator balusters, instead of using the overused lattice down in this area, trimming out with a vertical under trim and all, and just some little things that we do just to add the wow factor, the lighting package, the solar lights, the little things that really make it different and make it look just super.
So George, I think you nailed it. You got the functionality and you got the wow factor, but I do want to see the gazebo, the interior of that gazebo. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. First of all, this is a great place to have dinner because you're right next to the barbecue, which is well placed, but you're also screened in, so no bugs. But when I look up, that's a wow.
Now, that's the ProWood Duracolor ceiling joist backed by Knotty Pine for contrast, which really makes that stand out and pop to the extent that when we finished this, Jason, I looked up and said, wow, it really impressed me too.
That's 2 wows, and then you got the ceiling fan, which really sets it off, so that's another wow. Let's look at some more. One of my favorite things about this deck is the accent lighting. These are Decorator's LED low voltage deck lights, and not only do they look great, it's also a safety feature. They also have a sensor that turns them on and off depending on the light situation, and they're really easy to install. I love these. One of my other favorite things is up here. Now, I love the fact that we have a very clean, unmarked surface. There's nothing better than a ProWood Duracolor surface that looks fastener free. Now, we achieve that by using this tool. This is the Camo Marksman Edge, and it attaches to any drill. Now, when you're installing wet treated lumber, which this is specifically made for, it's important to push those boards up against each other tight when you install them. The reason for that is it's wet. Almost all treated lumber is wet. When it contracts eventually, it's going to give you that gap. This is specifically made for wet treated lumber. So that little tooth on the end, you set that right in that gap and it drives that screw in at an angle, completely hiding it. There's nothing better than a clean look. Plus, when you're sweeping, you don't have to worry about any of the holes. If you think this lumber looks like redwood or cedar, we'll take that as a compliment. This is actually pressure treated lumber, and on a deck this size, this is a much more cost-effective option. This is ProWood Duracolor, and the color is actually infused during the treatment process, which will make it last a lot longer and not gray over time. Stay tuned for the next ProWood Desperate Deck Contest by liking and following ProWood at facebook.com/ProWood, or just go to ProWoodLumber.com. Thanks to Universal Forest Products, Decorators, and Camo for providing all the necessary material to build this amazing ProWood Duracolor deck. We've had a blast working with the Foskeys and showing you the new ProWood Duracolor Dream Deck. Now I'm going to go join the fun. We'll see you on the next build.